We know it's institutional racism. We know how to identify white supremacy. We know we know everything. Why we can't sidestep it? Are we that dumb? As a race of people, are we that dumb? We know everything under the sun except how to get some money and how to build together. We can tell you about when we was the first black people when God created 4,000 years ago. We can tell you about slavery that we never seen. We can tell you what's on Mars. We can tell you what color God is. But nigga, we don't know how to build together or get no money. But we know everything. How dumb are we?
It's just our priorities, I say that.
Well, priorities, I say values.
That for sure. For sure.
I say values because what's my priority has nothing to do with the race. What I like to do, the race can't blame me for what I like to do.
You're right.
If I like getting high, that's what I like to do. Y'all gonna shame me for that? If I like drinking, we gonna shame him for drinking? If he like punks, we gonna shame him for punks. We're going to shame each other for everything that we like doing that maybe the others don't like doing, and we'll allow that to keep us from working together. The white boy don't do it. The Jews don't do it. The Arabs don't do it. The Italians, don't nobody do that but us. Are we that fucked up? We got to start looking. Are we that fucked up?
Looking in the mirror.
Yeah. But how often do we take the time to look in the mirror on platforms? We gonna say, oh man, he bashing black people. Oh man, he ain't never talking about the white man. What the white man do don't bother me. What black people do. See, I expect for white people to do us wrong. I expect it. When I go to court and I see a white judge, I'm already expecting to be fucked over. When I go to the hospital and I see a white doctor, I'm already expecting to be lied to. I see a white cop walking through, I'm already expecting it. So when it happens, I ain't surprised. I'll be surprised when we do it. I don't expect it. Never.
So is Charleston White spitting facts or nah? He touched on a lot of the things we're concerned about, or we should be concerned about more, I believe. Main thing being accountability. Like we need to have more self-accountability. Whether how is we conduct ourselves on social media or when we're interacting with each other in business or just regular social settings in the real world. And just based off my personal experience as a business owner and dealing with my own community, it is hard. I see that they judge me a little bit more harshly than they would these major companies and brands, if you will. Because I'm very outspoken on social media. I make these videos and I share them to my page, like my Facebook and IG, and I have my local peers and community that follow those pages. And that's kind of a different demographic than my YouTube and TikTok people, so I don't get judged as harshly. People combat me on TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. On Facebook, it's more so they'll avoid. Like if they see I'm challenging them or holding us accountable as people, right? Like for example, if I'm speaking on the church, I'm very knowledgeable in the church. I grew up in a Christian church and I had to give sermons every second Sunday at my grandfather's church, right? So I know that mug like the back of my hand. But as I got older and more knowledgeable in history and other religious studies and theologies, I would be able to present questions to my peers, and that would challenge the way they thought or what they believed. And not in a sense to kind of destroy their world, but just to open their eyes more to what the true knowledge of these religions and teachings are. So instead of being open-minded and maybe even open for dialogue or debate, because I'm willing to debate and go back and forth, I can agree to disagree and still support you. Personally, that's what I can do. But I see a lot of these black organizations and the church, our community in general, don't do that. If you can't agree on what I agree on spiritually, know what I'm saying, then that's it. I can't support you. And I think that's the root problem for a lot of us black people. And I chose spiritually specifically because I don't want to just blame the church, because a lot of spiritual people are this way as well. They'll have their cultish ways and kind of group all their people into a box. So if you're Kemet, for instance, you can't mess with no Hebrew Israelites, or you can't mess with the Christians. You got to go against them and get mad at them and get angry when y'all disagree. You don't do business with them. You only do business with your own people. So it's not just the church. And I understand you want to support who supports you and who you're most closely related to ideology-wise, but I think our priorities are fucked up, because before what we are spiritually, which does matter, we need to figure out what we are on this material realm. And we got that shit all backwards. And as much as the media and even us in our own minds want to think that black business is thriving and is growing, it's really not. It's stagnant and it's at a stalemate, because we're not taking the next step to evolve. And how we're going to do that is by learning to agree to disagree and not hold grudges against each other based off beliefs, and to support each other without being petty. Like, so another personal experience, I've had people that were in the church reach out to me about catering, because I have a catering company, and they were down and open. Then once they added my social page, I believe they saw my thoughts on the different religions and how open-minded I was, and they just totally backed out. And I saw, like, about a couple weeks later, they had went with somebody else, which is like, okay, I understand that. But in that same token, you same people are wearing Nikes and all these other designer brands and name brands that have sweatshops and unethical business practices. And you want to hold me challenging these systems and these beliefs over my head and not support me, the small business, and just give your money to the big evil corporation, which is literally killing kids. So that's where the moral conundrum comes in. Thinking you so right for staying true to your beliefs when the facts are showing otherwise. It's showing that you actually support and worship evil. If you're still dealing with these major corporations, you're not willing to hold them to the same standards that you are your peers and people you actually know and could see. You see how when you support them, it affects their family, their livelihood, but you still choose to go to the corporation. That's black people's problem. We're brand whores and corporate whores. We need to get out of that state of mind. Even when we do come up with a creative concept and something original, instead of just keeping it on our own and building it up on our own, we reach out to these corporations and these companies to help us or just buy us out with a big chunk of money. We don't grow it organically.